could you tell us your plea today?
I don't have any comment to make at this time.
And would you like to tell us your plea?
I don't have any comment to make right now.
How has life on bail been for you? Have you had access to computers or phones?
I'm not making any comment at this time.
Have you had any contact with Premier Kathleen Wynne or any of your former colleagues?
Well, I'm not making any comments.
Surprising, I thought he'd make many. Ben Levin, his case was before the court today again. The former advisor to Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne, nationally influential professor of education, facing 7 child pornography-related charges, but pleaded not guilty. What a surprise. Faith Goldie has a lot more on the story. There you were, chasing, persecuting that poor man.
A poor man. Allegedly, perhaps not so poor.
I have rarely seen you shocked. When you first covered the case and you were in court to hear the charges, you were shaken. When you came back to the studio.
I ought to say that there is a publication ban on any matter when it comes to evidence from within the court.
Exactly.
However, I am able now to comment on procedure, how he looked and the rest of it. What happened today before the courts was counsel was present. Ben Levin, the man you see on your screen, was not. Neither was, let's just say, the spear of his defense team in Clayton Ruby. However, Gerald Chan, his number 2, was there, as well as the Crown. What they have opted to do is skip pre-trial altogether, and they will be headed to trial. Unfortunately, today, there wasn't a meeting of the minds, shall we say. So after about 10 minutes before the judge, they broke for about an hour or so, got back together, and they decided that they would proceed on December the 11th. But what we did learn from the Crown is that she will require about 25 days before the court when it comes to carrying out all of the hearings.
Now, as you say, we can't talk about the charges. We can say that the police do not charge in any flippant manner. They have to believe they have a very solid case. We will see what happens. Let's talk about the connection, though, with politicians. Is it fair to even speak of Kathleen Wynne or Justin Trudeau or Bob Rae, who knew him? We may disagree with these people, but surely they are incredulous and disgusted. They had no idea. Is it right and righteous to say, well, he was an advisor to Kathleen Wynne? He was a highly respected educational theorist, and people didn't know.
Not just a theorist, he had very, very practical involvement when it comes to education, both at at OISE, which is the Mordor that teaches our teachers, as well as
Did you say Mordor?
Yes, I did.
Mordor. Yes. For those who don't get the reference, look it up.
As well as he was Deputy Education Minister when Kathleen Wynne, the current Premier, was heading up that ministry. He was there when they first drafted this sinister and somewhat controversial sex ed curriculum that was once pulled and later next year actually will be put back in place. But I want to draw your attention to this particular clip that we're now seeing that we just saw. This is just a note over here of him endorsing that very sex ed curriculum.
We'll play the clip again then.
What you see there is the Pride Parade in Toronto. He is pictured beside Justin Trudeau, Liberal leader of the National Party, Kathleen Wynne, and Bob Rae, 3 of perhaps the most prominent Liberals in the entire country. Today, we're receiving word, actually, a tweet from a former Wynne staffer, as well as a former journalist, that they're saying this isn't Ben Levin. This is not the guy
I've
that
heard
is
this
pictured.
before.
This is newsworthy, Michael. If they want to say that's not him, fine. Prove to me that it's not him. Show me the guy that is actually pictured beside 3 of the most powerful Liberals in this country. And don't tell me that it was just some anonymous stranger that came and sat beside Justin Trudeau. Heck, I have to run to get close to the guy.
But look, Brent Hawkes was there too. Brent is a friend of mine, a man I admire very much. We don't agree on everything. That's not the point. Is it fair to conclude, to construe, that because someone who's been charged with horrible offences may or may not have been sitting with, obviously knew these people, is it fair to conclude they have anything in common with him? I wonder if that's so. Jan Ghomeshi, the charges against Jan Ghomeshi are horrible as well. So many people knew him.
That's not my conclusion,
then
Michael.
What are we saying here?
What I'm saying is that this man had a direct hand in forming curriculum that informs the children of this province on matters of a sexual nature. The charges that he is now facing are some of the most serious and heinous in our entire criminal code. And they directly are in relation to sexual acts involving children. You understand? And it's my job to question possibilities of connections, possibilities of intention, grooming, anything that might be there. That's my job as a commentator, reporter.
Well, I think it's the job of all of us to analyse what motive really is.
But not many are, Michael.
No, nobody is. It is extraordinary how much attention, for example, Ghomeshi has been given, and he deserves it, but compare that with how little has been given to Mr. Levin, who was far more influential. Ghomeshi had a radio show that most people didn't take that seriously. Levin, as you say, was at the very epicenter of educational theory and practice in this country. Now, there may be no connection between the charges, motive, and what any legislation actually said. But the question is worthy of being asked. And when you ask it, you're criticized.
Certainly. Look at the media circus that was surrounding Jan Ghomeshi on the very same day that Ben Levin was actually before the courts this week. Here's my comparison. Both men, Jan Ghomeshi and Ben Levin, were at a point on the public purse. Both of them got off on $100,000 bail.
That's standard.
Both of them are facing charges of a sexual nature. Jan Ghomeshi, 5 involving adults. Ben Levin, 7 involving children. Where was the media frenzy, Michael? How dare the folks of the CBC, of CTV, Global City, and the rest of it not send someone there? They have the resources. As for today, we sent Boy Wonder over there, one of our reporters, Ike Ray. He was in the seats. Miroslav Marinov from blogwrath.com, shout out to him. He was the only other reporter, and he's an independent blogger that was present.
It is surprising to me, and I'm not one of the bashers of other networks. I just don't do that. But it does surprise me that there is not more interest and coverage. And we saw with Ghomeshi, the Toronto Star, and many people left of centre who really exposed him. So I don't think it works to say it's a left-right issue. I wonder if it's a power dynamic. I mean, this is a very influential man. That he has fallen from grace, that these charges are so heinous, that he was directly connected with education, the formation of young people. We should be covering it. We should be asking questions. Now, the answers may not be the ones that some people are looking for, but that so few media are involved, I'm shocked.
I am not looking for a particular answer. I care very much about the welfare of all children. And those within our province, let's just say, have a particular piece of real estate when it comes to my heart and my interests. And so I am going to be warming the benches within the courtrooms going forward. Next time is going to be December 11th. And to all of the media watching, it's going to be at 10 a.m. in courtroom, I believe, 303 at 1000 Finch Avenue West. I really do hope you can.
It's so hard to get to these days. Faith, thank goodness you are there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Michael.